The stars outside Grimm Station didn't shine like they used to. They looked dull. Like the place itself, it was a trading post far from any real law. Smugglers, hunters, and buyers from every corner of the galaxy passed through. It smelled like oil, dust, and old metal. No one smiled here unless they were hiding something. Ethan stepped out of the cargo shuttle, his boots landing on cracked metal floor. He wore a simple jacket and carried a small backpack. Nothing fancy, nothing valuable. He had just a few credits left, enough for food or fuel. Not both, but he wasn't here for either. He had heard rumors, dark ones, stories whispered by drunk pilots and shady traders. They're selling live meat, someone had said. Not animals, people. Catfolk from the Outer Rim, young ones, taken from their planet. Ethan had heard about them before. Alien women with feline eyes, soft fur, tails, and quiet voices. Peaceful, kind people. Once artists, now hunted. He didn't want to believe it, but he had to see for himself. He walked through rows of vendors selling strange tech, fake relics, and greasy food. The deeper he went, the quieter it got. Neon lights flickered above his head. Then he heard a soft cry. It came from behind. A thick metal gate guarded by a tall alien with gray skin and forearms. Ethan showed no fear. Just walked closer. The guard narrowed his eyes. What do you want, human? The guard growled. To see what's for sale, Ethan said calmly. The guard laughed and pressed a button. The gate opened with a hiss. Ethan stepped inside. The room was cold and dark. Lights on the ceiling blinked weakly. Cages lined the walls. Inside them were the Catwomen. Some were curled up, weak and thin. Others just sat still, staring at the floor, chains wrapped around their arms and legs. Their fur was dusty, their eyes tired. A few traders stood nearby, placing bids. They were loud, laughing, joking. To them, this wasn't cruel. It was just business. One of the Catwomen lifted her head. Her eyes met Ethan's. They were green, like leaves after rain. She didn't cry or speak. She just looked at him, as if trying to remember something lost. Ethan single quotes as hands curled into fists. His heart pounded. He wanted to shout, to break the cages, but he stayed quiet. One wrong move and he'd be thrown out, or worse. The seller, a short creature with oily skin, waved his hands. Next batch, he shouted. Fresh from the Ashari system, rare meat, high demand. How much? Someone called. 2,000 credits each. The seller grinned. Ethan felt his stomach turn. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a small silver chip. It was the last thing he had. His final credit storage. He had saved it for a real emergency. This was it. He stepped forward and placed the chip on the table. I'll buy all of them, he said. The room went silent. The seller blinked. All of them? Ethan nodded. Every single one. You must be joking. Human, the seller said. You don't have enough. Scan it. Ethan replied. A scanner flashed over the chip. It beeped. Green light. The seller's smile faded. The guard shifted uncomfortably. He's serious, someone whispered. The seller looked at Ethan for a long time, then finally said, Fine, they're yours. Take them and leave. The cages were unlocked one by one. The Catwomen stepped out. Slowly, unsure if this was real. Some limped, some helped each other walk. Ethan stood still, letting them come to him. He didn't speak, didn't touch, just nodded gently. The one with green eyes stopped in front of him. She tilted her head, as if studying his face. Then she whispered, Thank you. Ethan gave a soft smile. You're safe now. The seller grumbled, counting credits and muttering under his breath. The traders left, disappointed. No one cheered. No one stopped them. Outside, the stars still looked dull. But to Ethan, something had changed. Maybe not in the galaxy. Maybe not in the hearts of cruel men. But in this one moment, he had done something right. He had no money left. No plan. No idea how to care for 20 alien strangers. But he had their trust. And that was enough to begin. The Catwomen followed him quietly into the dark streets of Grimm Station. Their chains were gone. But the real journey was just starting. They didn't know where they would go, But they walked together. Freethan led the 20 alien Catwomen through the twisting streets of Grim Station. The neon lights flickered above, casting strange colors on their faces. The Catwomen moved slowly, some limping, others holding their sides. Their fur was still dusty, but their eyes held a new light of small hope. Ethan looked at them. He had no idea how to care for them. He had no shelter, no food, and no plan. He only knew he could not leave them to be sold again. His hand shook as he pulled out a small data pad. He searched for any place to hide. A safe spot in Grim Station. Every option was expensive or full. Desperation grew inside him. "We need shelter," he said softly. "Any ideas?" One of the Catwomen, the one with green eyes who had whispered "thank you," stepped forward. "I'm Leary," she said quietly. "We must find a place with walls and doors. Not like here." Ethan nodded. "I will try." They moved through the alleys, avoiding the loud crowds. Whispers followed them, eyes watching. The traders had spread the news. A human had bought the Catwomen. Some laughed, others scowled. No one expected the human to care. Ethan found an old cargo ship docked near the edge of Grim Station. It looked worn and forgotten, but it was dry and closed. He opened the hatch and helped the Catwomen inside. The space was small but safe. "We stay here," Ethan said, "for now." The Catwomen settled on the metal floor. Some curled into balls. Leary sat near Ethan, her tail twitching. "Why did you buy us?" she asked. Ethan looked away, thinking. "Because it was wrong. No one should be sold like meat." Leary nodded slowly. "Thank you. We feared the worst." Ethan sat down beside her. "What will happen if they find us?" Leary's eyes darkened. "The traders will come. They want us back. They say we belong to them." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then we will fight." The next day was tense. Ethan searched Grim Station for supplies. He begged, borrowed, and traded what little he had left. He found food, water, and blankets. He fixed the ship's old systems as best he could. Back on the ship, the Catwomen ate quietly. Some started to talk in soft voices, sharing stories. Ethan listened, learning about their home planet Ashari, a place of beauty and peace. He heard about their families, their songs, and their lost lives. As night fell, a sudden noise broke the calm. Metal footsteps outside. Ethan froze. "They are here," Leary whispered. Ethan grabbed a makeshift weapon, a heavy pipe. The Catwomen stood, ready, their eyes sharp. The hatch shook as strong hands tried to force it open. Ethan shouted, "Stay back." The attackers pushed harder. Ethan hit the door with the pipe. The hatch bent but did not break. "We need to move," Leary said, "before they break in." Ethan's mind raced. The ship could fly, but he did not know how to pilot it well. "Can you help?" Leary nodded. "I once learned basic controls. I will try." Together, they rushed to the cockpit. Ethan pressed buttons, trying to remember the controls from the ship's manual. Leary guided him. The hatch burst open. Armed men with strange weapons stormed in. "Run!" Ethan yelled. The Catwomen sprinted to safety as Ethan pushed the throttle. The ship shook, then lifted from the dock. Outside, the hunters fired, but the ship was too fast. It sped into the blackness of space. Ethan and Leary worked side by side. "We're free, for now," she said. Ethan smiled tiredly. "We'll find a way." Hours passed as they escaped Grim Station's reach. The Catwomen rested, some crying softly. Ethan felt their pain but could not fix it yet. "What now?" Ethan asked Leary. "We find a safe place, somewhere they cannot follow up." Ethan looked at the stars, feeling small and lost. But the faces around him showed trust and hope. He promised himself, no matter the cost, he would protect them all. Cargo ship hummed quietly as it moved through the empty blackness of space. Inside, Ethan sat beside Leary in the small cockpit. The controls were old, and Ethan struggled to keep the ship steady. Leary watched him, her sharp eyes focused and calm. "You're doing well," she said softly. Ethan gave a tired smile. "Thanks, but I'm no pilot." Leary nodded. "I will help. Together, we can escape them." Behind them, the rest of the Catwomen rested in the ship's cramped quarters. Some whispered in low voices. Others stared out the small windows, lost in thought. They were safe for now. But they knew the danger was not far. Ethan walked back to the main room. The Catwomen looked at him with hope and fear mixed in their eyes. He wished he had better words. But he only said, "We will find a place to hide." Leary joined him. "There is a moon nearby. No one lives there. It is old shelters and caves. We can rest." Ethan nodded. "Let's go." The ship changed course and moved toward the moon. As they got closer, the rocky surface came into view. It was gray and barren, with cracks and shadows. Ethan landed the ship near a deep cave. The air outside was thin, but safe. They stepped out carefully, looking around. "This will be our home for now," Leary said. They carried what little they had from the ship into the cave. It was dark and cold, but it protected them from prying eyes. Ethan made a small fire with some fuel, and the Catwomen gathered around, warming their hands. Leary sat beside Ethan. "Thank you," she whispered. Ethan looked at her. "You don't have to thank me." "But I do," Leary said. "You saved us from a terrible fate. The hunters want to find us and sell us again. We must stay hidden." Ethan nodded. "We will stay here until we are strong enough to fight back." Days passed slowly. Ethan worked to fix the ship's systems, while the Catwomen healed. Their wounds were deep, but their spirits grew. Leary told stories of Ashari, their home planet filled with force, music, and laughter. Ethan listened, imagining a world so different from Grim Station. One evening, as the fire flickered, Ethan asked, "How did this happen? Why were you taken?" Leary's eyes darkened. "Our planet was attacked by slavers. They took many of us. Some escaped, but many were sold like animals. We wanted to live free, but they took everything." Ethan's heart burned with anger. "We will help you get back. I promise." Leary smiled faintly. "You are brave, Ethan. Not like others." The quiet was broken by a sudden noise crackling on the radio. Ethan rushed to the ship. The signal was weak, but a voice came through. "Human vessel detected near Grim Station," the voice said. "Send backup." Ethan's face tightened. "They found us." Leary stood beside him. "We cannot stay. We must leave before they arrive." Ethan nodded. "I will prepare the ship." As they hurried back to the ship, the Catwomen gathered their few belongings. The fire died down, and shadows grew long. Once inside the ship, Ethan and Leary worked quickly. The engines roared as the ship lifted off the moon's surface. Outside, small ships appeared, hunting lights cutting through space. Ethan steered sharply, dodging their attacks. "Hold on," he shouted. Leary helped by watching the sensors and calling out warnings. The chase lasted long, but Ethan's determination kept them safe. Finally, the hunters gave up and returned to Grim Station. Inside the ship, the Catwomen breathed easier. The danger was not over, but they had survived. Ethan looked around at them. Tired faces. "We need allies, people who will help us fight." Leary nodded. "There are rebels and smugglers who hate the slavers. We must find them." Ethan smiled. "Then that is our next step." The ship flew deeper into space, toward hope and the unknown. The ship floated quietly in a remote part of space, far from Grim Station and its dangers. Inside, Ethan moved slowly among the Catwomen. Their faces looked tired, but there was a new light in their eyes, a sign of healing. Ethan sat with Leary and the others. He wanted to learn more about them. They were no longer just strangers or victims. They were people with stories, names, and dreams. "Tell me about Ashari," Ethan said softly. "Your home." Leary's eyes brightened. Ashari was beautiful. Forests full of tall trees, rivers that sang, and skies painted with colors we called songs. Our people were artists and singers. We lived in peace. Another Catwoman, a young one with silver fur, spoke. "I'm Kalia. I remember the festivals, the music, the lights. We danced all night under the stars." Ethan smiled, imagining a world so full of life. "What happened?" Leary's voice grew quiet. "The slavers came. They destroyed our homes. Many were captured. They wanted to sell us to the highest bidder. Those who resisted were hurt." Ethan's hands clenched. "You shouldn't have suffered." Kalia looked at him. eyes filled with hope. Now, we are free because of you. Ethan shook his head. You are strong. I just helped. The Catwomen began to share their names and stories. Each one had a past filled with laughter, pain, and courage. Ethan listened carefully, learning who they really were. This is more than rescue, he thought. It is about respect. To make them feel safe, Ethan gave each Catwoman a new name, chosen from their stories or traits. Lyra became the leader. She had the sharpest mind and the kindest heart. Kali was the dreamer, always thinking of Ashari's music and art. Another, with golden fur, was called Mara, meaning protector. She promised to defend them all. Ethan learned that giving names was a way to heal, to build trust. The Catwomen smiled more, their tails flicking with new energy. One night, Ethan sat alone, looking at the stars. He wondered how many others like them suffered in silence. He made a silent vow to do more than hide and protect. He would fight to bring justice. Lyra joined him. You think too much, she said with a soft smile. Maybe, Ethan replied. But I can't stop. She looked at him with respect. We will stand with you. The days passed with small victories. Ethan taught the Catwomen to use simple tools to fix the ship and prepare for what was ahead. Lyra showed Ethan how to read old star maps, searching for safe places. Kali sang softly, her voice lifting their spirits. One morning, Ethan found a message in the ship's computer. A list of rebel groups scattered across nearby systems. They were outlaws to some, but heroes to others. Ethan called the Catwomen. This is our chance. We can find help. Lyra nodded. We must be careful. Not all will welcome us. Ethan smiled. Then we will show them who we are. The Catwomen began to train. They practiced moving silently, listening for danger. Ethan helped build simple weapons not to harm, but to protect. Their bond grew stronger each day. No longer victims or prisoners, they were a family united by hope and courage. As the ship prepared to leave the moon, Ethan looked at each of them. This is just the beginning. He said, together, we will change the future. The cargo ship drifted through the quiet stars as Ethan and the Catwomen searched for allies. They had left the moon behind, moving into unknown space. The danger was always close, but hope grew stronger. Ethan tapped the ship's communication panel. He sent a message to old friends, rebels, smugglers, and outcasts who hated the slavers and cruelty. This is Ethan, he said. I have with me a group of survivors. We need help. The reply came faster than expected. We know you. We want to help. Soon, small ships appeared near them, carrying supplies, food, water, tools, and medical kits. Ethan smiled, relief filling his chest. The Catwomen watched the arrivals with caution and hope. Lyra stepped forward. Thank you, she said quietly. The rebels were rough but kind. They had seen pain and injustice before. They listened to Ethan's story and promised to help fight the slavers who had hurt Ashari. Over the next days, the ship became a busy place. Rebels taught the Catwomen how to defend themselves, how to move quietly, and how to use simple weapons. Mara, the protector, learned quickly. She trained with the rebels and helped organize the group. Kalia's songs filled the ship, lifting spirits after hard days. Ethan worked beside them, fixing the ship and planning their next steps. One night, as stars twinkled outside, Ethan sat with Lyra. Do you think we can win? He asked. Lyra smiled softly. We must, for Ashari, for all who suffer. Ethan nodded. They butchered your people for food. That cruelty cannot go unpunished. Lyra looked at him with fierce eyes. We will be the ones who bring justice. The days turned to weeks. The Catwomen grew stronger, their bodies healing and their hearts growing brave. They shared stories of Ashari with the rebels, who promised to stand by them. Ethan saw something change in them. No longer scared, no longer broken. One evening, a rebel captain named Jax approached Ethan. We have information, Jax said. The slavers are moving troops to Ashari. They plan to control it fully. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then we must move fast. Lyra gathered the Catwomen. This is our chance to return, to reclaim what was lost. The group prepared. Weapons were checked. Plans were made. The small fleet of rebels and the human ship moved toward Ashari, ready to fight. Ethan stood beside Leary. "We are not just survivors," he said. "We are warriors." Leary smiled. "And together, we will bring hope to the stars." As the ships moved closer to Ashari, the Catwomen looked down at their lost home. Hearts filled with a mix of pain and courage, Ethan watched them and knew the fight ahead would be hard, but with friends beside them, they were no longer alone. The small fleet moved slowly toward Ashari's orbit. Stars sparkled around them, but their hearts were heavy. Ashari was no longer the beautiful planet they remembered. Scars of war and destruction marred its surface. Ethan stood on the bridge of the cargo ship, looking out at the ruined world below. Beside him, Leary held a small pendant, a symbol of her people's past. Her green eyes shone with determination. "This is our home," Leary said softly, "and we will take it back." The rebel Captain Jax spoke through the comms. "We see enemy forces on the surface, heavily armed." Ethan nodded. "We cannot wait. We must land." The fleet entered the planet's atmosphere. Ashari's skies were gray and thick with smoke. Below, slaver troops guarded mining camps and holding cells. The cargo ship touched down near the outskirts of an old forest. Trees stood like silent watchers. Wounded but alive. Liri stepped out first, leading the Catwomen. Their paws touched Ashari's soil for the first time in years. They whispered ancient words, calling to their lost home. Ethan followed, weapon ready. The rebels spread out, hiding in the shadows. "Our goal," Leary said, "is to free those still trapped and destroy the slavers' control." The group moved silently through the woods. They avoided patrols and traps, using the knowledge Leary shared. Hours later, they reached the camp. Cages held prisoners, Catwomen, and others taken from Ashari. Ethan felt anger burn inside him. He motioned for the rebels to prepare. Liri approached the cages and whispered, "Freedom." With swift action, the rebels struck, alarms blared, and guards rushed out, but they were no match. The council gathered once more. The room was filled with quiet voices and watchful eyes. The humans stood ready, knowing this meeting would decide their future. The eldest alien spoke first. "We have watched you closely. Your actions have shown kindness and strength. Yet, your DNA remains a mystery we cannot ignore." "Doctor," Lena Ford stepped forward, "we understand your concerns. Our past may be unclear, but our present is peace. We want to work with you, not against you." A younger council member raised a question. "If your DNA carries ancient power, how will you control it when it awakens?" Lena looked steady. "We do not know everything about ourselves yet, but we face every challenge together, as one. We will not let fear guide our future." The council was silent. They debated in whispers. Some feared the humans, others saw hope. Finally, the council spoke their decision. "Earth will be a neutral zone," the eldest said. "No one will harm you. No one will watch you closely. You will be free to grow on your own terms." The humans felt a mix of relief and surprise. Freedom was a gift and a responsibility. Before the meeting ended, an alien ambassador approached Lena. His eyes were serious. "We are not afraid of what you are now," he said softly, "but we fear what you might become." Lena nodded. "Fear can be a warning or a cage. We choose to break free from the cage." As the humans boarded their ship, they looked back at the stars. The galaxy was vast and full of unknowns. They knew their DNA held secrets that might one day awaken. But they also knew their true strength came from their choices, their hearts, and their will to grow. The council's warning stayed with them. It was a challenge and a promise. Humanity was ready to face the future, to become more, to prove that their past did not define them. And in the quiet darkness of space, something old stirred, waiting. But humanity was no longer afraid. They were ready. Mara fought fiercely, protecting the group as they released the prisoners. Kalia sang softly, her voice calming those free. Soon, the camp was theirs. The free Catwomen embraced their rescuers, tears mixing with smiles. But the battle was not over. From the distance, heavy ships approached. The slavers were sending reinforcements. Ethan looked at Leary. "We must hold this ground until help arrives." Leary nodded. for Ashari. The Catwomen and rebels prepared defenses. They used the forest cover and traps they set the slaver. Forces attacked with heavy weapons and fire. The fighting was fierce. Ethan fought beside Mara, their strength a wall against the enemy. Leary led the Catwomen in quick strikes, using their agility and knowledge of the land. After hours of battle, the reinforcements arrived, more rebels joining the fight. The slavers began to retreat, their control weakening. When the last enemy ship left, silence returned to Ashari. Leary stood tall, voice clear. "We are free." Ethan smiled. "This is only the start. Ashari will rise again." The Catwomen helped rebuild homes, plant trees, and heal the wounded. Ethan stayed by their side. A brother to this new family. Under the Ashari sky, hope blossomed once more. Months passed since the battle for Ashari. The once ruined planet slowly began to bloom again. Green leaves sprouted from broken trees. Small flowers peeked through cracked earth. The air smelled fresh, like a new beginning. Ethan walked among the rebuilt homes with Leary and the Catwomen. Their smiles were brighter now. Laughter filled the clear skies. Children played under the tall trees, safe and free. "Look how far we've come," Leary said softly, her tail flicking happily. Ethan nodded, feeling proud. "We did it together." The Catwomen called him brother from another star. It was a title he wore with honor. He helped build houses, plant crops, and teach children about the stars beyond Ashari. Lyra stood beside him, stronger and wiser. "We will never forget what happened," she said, "but we will live with hope." Ethan looked at her, then at the others. "This family is more than survival. It is love and trust." One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Ethan and Leary sat by a small fire. The stars began to appear, twinkling gently. "Do you miss Earth?" Leary asked. Ethan smiled. "Sometimes, but Ashari feels like home now." Leary nodded. "You saved us with your last credit. More than money, it was your heart." Ethan laughed softly. "Maybe it was luck, or maybe it was fate." The peaceful days did not mean the galaxy was free of danger. Rumors of slavers returning spread. But Ethan and the Catwomen were ready. They had allies, strength, and a home worth fighting for. One day, a ship arrived from a distant system. Rebels and friends came with supplies and news. "You have inspired many," their leader said. "Ashari's story is one of hope." Ethan looked at Leary. "This is only the start. Together, we will protect this world and others like it." The Catwomen gathered around, united in purpose and heart. Ethan knew he had spent his last credit once to buy freedom, but in return, he had gained a family, a home, and a future. Under the wide sky of Ashari, their bonds were unbroken, their spirits strong. The galaxy may be vast and full of darkness, but here, on this small planet, light and hope would always shine.